Hi. We're finally talking about river chasing again. If you are new to my channel and you don't know what river chasing is, it's basically my warriors inspired xenofiction OC story that I have spent a lot of time and a lot of Tuesday Talk episodes discussing. It was actually the reason I started doing Tuesday Talks, just a quick couple of videos to put out about these cats and this world. And I thought it was only fitting to basically talk about, hey, where is it? Why haven't I given any updates on it? Why have I gone kind of radio silent about, river chasing? And the honest truth is that I I I I've lost interest a little bit, okay? It's been a year, over a year possibly, since my last episode on it. Yeah, the last one was May 31st, 2022. Yikes. So it has been a while, to say the least. But that's because I kind of fell out of love with the colony structure and the plot. I think I was falling way too I think I was still really tied to warrior cats, and I'm not shy about the fact that I'm inspired by like Star Cat Studios whole shtick and story and colony building. And I decided to, a couple months ago, say like, oh, what the heck, I'll just take a look at what they did, draw more inspirations, feel less guilty about repeating some of the things they did, diversifying how the clan is, how many more roles they have, spending more time on culture, actually developing a religion that I could work with. Not that it's as in tune as StarClan. And that led to me basically rewriting a lot of the clans and the story itself. So river chasing was kind of been revamped, and yeah, the colonies look really different. I'm trying not to remove or change a lot of the cats that are already in the story. I'm trying to just work with who I have and change some things accordingly. Like I might add a background character that's gonna die in the first few chapters, or stuff like that, yeah, there's a lot. I haven't given up on the story, but I have kind of given up on what it was. What we see in the videos and what river chasing has kind of been shown as is not really what it is anymore. I mean, just looking at like the colony structures, I've changed the names for things. I've given each colony like a special kind of personalized role where that's fit for their area. One of the colonies is completely different. New name, Dark Colony, where Rabbitleap, the middle cat, for those who don't know, came from. She's got a whole new colony name. It's now Meyer Colony. And Meyer Colony has all new fascinating lore with all new fascinating tidbits, and I haven't gotten to the third colony, the place where Doc is from, the black cat that you're seeing on screen right now. I actually haven't touched her colony yet, but I have because it's kind of the main colony. Worked a lot on Lake Colony, and Wave is no more. I'm sorry to say. Wave is just been written out. Our Lake Colony protagonist is being changed for the better, I would say. One thing that I had planned originally, and I've talked about this in a few of my videos, particularly the video where I introduced Doc. The thing is that her brother, Ember, was going to become the protagonist, and in fact, like in all of my early drafts, he was the protagonist, and then I just didn't. When I got to like the deadline of when I was going to put that video out, I just decided, oh, I'm just going to do it about his sister instead. She'd be a much better protagonist. And then I did not realize that I had 3 female protagonists, and that I felt incredibly guilty about, because I wanted to have at least 1 male protagonist and 2 female protagonists. So I took a look back at the characters, and I was like, okay, who can I gender swap? And I was not going to take it from Rabbitleap. Her plot about being basically having like a teen pregnancy situation was never something I was going to remove from her. She had to be a girl. There are a million reasons that I'm not going to go into for why I could never change that for her character. And it all has to do with her being a young girl. Doc was not going to change either. I wasn't about to take away Doc, or switch her with her brother, or make her a boy. I also didn't want to take away one of our main characters being a lesbian and make it a straight ship instead. I thought that would just be kind of weird and distasteful. So I landed on Wave, and I took one look at Wave, and I went, yeah, I could probably swap a few genders around in Lake Colony and come to a different story following the same exact kind of things that I wanted, which has always been this like conversation about controlling parents and the how like organized arranged marriage, stuff like that, and how originally Wave had a friendship with an older cat named Waspclaw. They were very close friends. She kind of viewed him as like her older brother type guy, like she always looked up to him. And her mom was like, oh, when are you guys gonna get together? But I thought that if I switched Wave around to being a boy, that I could just give that a different character relationship. So Wave is now known as Mud. His full name is Mudsplash. Yeah. That's kind of like one of the biggest character decisions. I'm trying not to change the plots too much. Doc, I really have so little for because I have not worked with her at all. I know that the only things I really want to keep the same are like her being a lesbian. I'm going to keep that the same. But other than that, I've mostly really been working on Light Colony and changing Wave into Mud. And I really like Mud. Mud basically has this relationship with Wasclaw still as like obviously still like that cool older brother, best friend kind of mentality. I always thought it that because Wasclaw is like a young dweller, which is like this world's equivalent of warrior. He's just barely gotten his name, and so they were kind of, at least in the nursery together, like they're close enough in age that they're like actually good friends. And while Mud is never interested in being like romance or whatever, he's kind of just focused on like doing cool stuff and having fun and, you know, being a kid that's growing up. We have his mom, Fishfang, who is like, oh, when are you going to start dating? When are you going to have kids? When am I going to have grandkids? Am I going to have that soon? And instead of pushing it with, like, one of Sage Leaf's kits, because those are the only other kits, I think she would push it with Silver Snake's daughter, Plum, which, how do I explain this if you don't know anything about river chasing? Sage Leaf is someone who is really close to Fishfang's age. Fishfang, who is Mud's mother, except that Sage Leaf's mate, Cloversight, was a cat that Fishfang has a crush on, but those two didn't get together, so she got together with Cindercloud, and they had Mud and his sister instead. And then around the same time, Sage Leaf had her kits with Cloversight, and those kits, Fishfang is very against her children being with, so the only other cat would be another warrior, not really a warrior in this world, Silver Snake. Her daughter, even though her partner was not of the colony, and Fishfang is really like outsider, she would still take that relationship with her son, having like kits with Silver Snake's daughter, Plum, over having to do with Sage Leaf, which is funny to me because one thing that was always really interesting about like Wave is that Wave was this world equivalent of the apprentice to Sage Leaf, but I thought there was no way that Fishfang would have done that. So now there are mentors, and there's like a group of them, and they all kind of train one, and the only one that was kind of available is the whole group, because you can't have just like one mentor doing it individually, because there are 4 mentors, I think, and like 5 apprentices. Yeah, it's outnumbered, so they're just teaching as a group instead. So, yeah. And I also wanted to to talk about the art for a moment. Just draw all of them for a second before, yeah. That's about it. More river chasing videos in the future, possibly. I really don't have any plan for it right now.